Okay, I have a little different question here now. You
Hmm.
said you are comfortable with the way you are
Hmm.
otherwise.
Hmm.
So, one smaller superficial question
Hmm.
and a little more deeper question. The superficial question is, is this just public persona that is important to you, that I should come across as this? Is that what it is? That's my superficial question. And the second deeper question is, um, when you are in this mind space of I am good as I am, why does this limitation not be included in that? Why should that be separated from this persona? Is the deeper question. The first question is it about public? Maybe they are connected also. Now that I'm seeing them in a certain way.
Um, See, I think it is very similar to what we learn in our meditation discourses about painting the picture. We paint a
Ah,
picture of ourselves,
yeah,
and we want that image to be in everyone's mind. Whomever we interact with, we want that image to be in their minds.
yeah,
So I'm sure it is a same thing, same case with me also.
yeah, yeah.
Though I say I am comfortable, which I am, I'm very comfortable with who I am. But yes, there is a element of this, and I think it is. I mean, the dichotomy we can, some things can just not be explained. That's just how who we are. And in the process of talking to you, whether it's today or over our numerous conversations, it's always helped me understand more about myself. I mean, whether you accept it or not, but our conversations have thrown so much of light into my own thought process.
I guess. Well, I accept it in the sense that I like to provoke people. I personally have had a very difficult journey in terms of self acceptance because very often I berated myself in not being um, handsome enough or presentable enough, and to a larger extent, even now, most of the times I am very casual about how I come across to people. Uh, I have wondered about it at times, but I have come to terms with this is how I am, and there's no need to push it because every time I have tried to be formal with people and go across and do what people are doing, I find it weighs very heavily on my mind.
Yes, I
It,
agree.
it really weighs very heavily on my mind because uh, I think there is already a lot of turmoil inside everyone's life. In terms, when you start taking this journey inwards, it's never going to be easy. You know, a lot of these are, like you said, one part is how we want others to see us. One part is how I see myself, and that fabric uh, changing its texture, its color, again and again and again. And I do not really know who I am very often because it's a very vulnerable space that you're trying to figure out where you stand. Okay, this is who I am. Uh, I remember when I decided that I'm not going to lie. I think first few weeks I didn't even realize that I was lying. I kept lying right, left, and center. And after 4 weeks, I would realize, oh, I told you this, but this is not what I meant. So then I went into overdrive. I would call you and say, look, I told you that I was very good in college. I was not so good. I was average. And you would say, are you mad or something? Why would you bring this topic again? It's not even important. But to me, it was like, uh, no, 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 you are a liar. You're like, you're there. You will never improve. Not that I am like everything I say is the truth. Maybe I cannot be very sure because my own understanding and perspective is shifting so many times. But there are attempts to find out, okay, is the truth what I feel at that moment? and am I saying this? Or at least withholding this instead of saying an exactly opposite thing, or in the worst. And while I cannot narrate some stuff on the camera, but there have been times when I'm being absolutely nasty. But I'll tell you truthfully that I'm being nasty to you. I will not bother about you. I'll say I'm going to be rude and this is what you are getting, and I'll really tear you to bits. But on your face, on the call, whatever it is, I will not mince my words. Or else, if I'm trying to uh, entice you with something, to get you into an idea that I bought into, no, no, let's go here, let's do this, or whatever it is, I tell you, look, I'm enticing you. I'm going to use these words, and this is how I'm going to convince you. I do not pretend to be otherwise. So this is where I stand in terms of even finding myself, how I adhere to a certain level of truth. Uh, is it the truth really? I'm unsure yet. But it is my truth for that moment for sure, as much as possible. Having said that, even that itself is a job. Very often I do not have the guts to, open up and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Or else
Yes.
I'll make up excuses not to say this to you because I don't want to get caught.
Hmm.
So coming back to questioning you, uh, I still want you to delve a little on that part because I am not very convinced with what you said. One part of us obviously wants to paint a certain picture in everybody's mind saying this is it. But since I have known you for whatever little time that I have known you in our brief lives, um, I find you do provoke the same line of questioning inside you. Okay, how am I and what are these thoughts about? So within that, how is it possible that you very uh, very strictly demarcated the two things? One was that this is what I'm not good at, but yes, I'm comfortable with myself. Did it never occur to you that they do intermingle and I should look into the thought process? Uh, if it didn't, why did it not? And if it did, uh, what were your reactions if at any point you followed this process of thought?
Um, I think, frankly, maybe I'm one of those people in certain areas. I just see black and white. I don't see a gray area. I don't see, I mean, my mind doesn't have that capability to see a gray area in some aspects of life.
Okay.
So I have never, Christian, I accept the way I think, but unless there is something which occurs to me which says, no, this could be the other way, only then I can try to see things from a different perspective. Otherwise, I'm just accepted. This is how it is, and this is how I'll be. Whether it is my reaction to circumstances or the way I handle myself in society or uh, elsewhere or with friends, I just accept it. There is nothing in me, at least, which says I have to be like the other person or I have to think like the other person, except when it comes to being articulate.
Being articulate.
Yeah, because when I see someone who is very articulate, I feel, oh, I wish I was like that.
Okay. Okay, I have a very interesting question here. Sorry to interrupt you. Because this is exactly the mind space I want to get into. I will also perhaps lose it. Uh, there is this little part of, when we are on the self-improvement mode, especially in the meditation practice that we have with us now, there are a lot of initial do's and don'ts that we take for granted. It's not presented to us in that manner, but because we are trying to walk a path which we've never, at least I had never thought of or accepted as normal, because it was like street smartness was the way to deal with the world, was my way of looking at life. So then you start saying, no, no, this part is of you is corrupt, and you want to be honest or you want to be good about it. So the question is for both of us actually. I don't have an answer to this point. I've been thinking about it myself. That when you're strict with yourself, how is one kind to another person? Because we allow the same space to the other person, uh, but at times we are fairly strict with ourselves. So when we are trying to, tell them, the question is exactly actually opposite of what I was saying. The idea is when I am practicing on a daily basis for a certain amount of time, and you come to me, you have a problem, I say that your solution lies in picking up the practice. And you give me, no, I have a ailing aunt or uncle, or this is the problem, that is the problem, the children, and this and that, whatever the worldly things that one gets stuck with, and which have to be taken care of, obviously. At that point, I find sometimes it's been very difficult for me to give the same space to the other person, because I think, hello, I have worked on myself with a lot of difficulty. Why should I allow you the liberty to be free on that one? How does one deal with this thought process?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat the last
How does
sentence?
one deal with this thought process?
Hmm. Uh, I would generally put myself in the other person's shoes and think, I mean, after listening to the other person, think what the person is going through and then respond. Does it make?
Yeah, it does. It does. I
Because
think, yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah. I think that's how I have also tried to, come to terms with these kind of thought processes. And of late, I'm a little more easygoing about it, because I also realize that the journey is what is making the person what he or she is in that moment. And yeah, I'm still judgmental, and I'm like very, very judgmental about a lot of things, as I realize, and I try and not be, but there is a lot of judgment. But there is also the space of, look, there might be reasons that you are unaware of, or your comprehension of their uh, life space might not be as deep as you think it is. Of course, the
Yeah,
rules
absolutely.
are
Yes.
same for all of us. But
Yes.
like you said, unless we are going to get into their minds, it's always going to be a little tricky, because we know only our life for sure. And that too also, I think for sure is a disclaimer I would want to say, with our limited understanding.
Yeah, and so when you advise, I mean, the any other person, it is like you can give them, okay, a range of uh, thinking channels, but then so that they can choose, because they know their situation much better than any of us, because there are some intricacies which we don't know, even though they tell us a lot. There are some things which we won't know, so it's just providing, you can show them, okay, these are the things, and help them make a decision. We cannot make the decision for them.
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting theory, because I've really struggled with this quite a lot. I have a lot of friends who kind of go in and out of friendship with me. I'm saying in the way they are in touch with me. When they're not in touch with me, I know that they are up to no good. And because I have been on that path very often, and I kind of understand, and I have no judgment anymore about them, because I know how difficult it is to break a habit pattern and come to terms with this evolving self, and which is also neither a linear process nor is it cast in stone. It
True.
keeps changing. What
Yes.
we are keeps changing very often, and it may not be to our liking many a time.
Hmm.
Morning, I may think I am the greatest in the world, and by evening, I am almost quasi suicidal. Like, what am I doing? And the same thought and the same reaction may at times seem like that. Of course, with meditation and regular practice, there is a certain sense of balance that comes to things.
Hmm.
And the same person who was excited in the morning remembers that, well, this might pass. And in the evening, also, when you are feeling that you're the lousiest, then still you think that, okay, this too might pass. And it kind of gives us a bit of a grounding which is independent of us. Um,
I think it is important for us to understand that just as how we are evolving,
yeah,
or everyone else is evolving.
yeah, yeah,
So that helps us in not being judgmental, because, if we become more judgmental about ourselves, then it's just disastrous.
I think it's also a human issue, no? The
Yes,
fact that all of us are, if you were to see the issue as a human issue rather than an Adarsh issue or a Bunty issue or
true.
XYZ issue, then it kind of forces it down to, okay, let's find a solution immediately.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, 3 or 4 of us, all meditative friends, were sitting, and my daughter was sitting, and she finds that these guys are like the thickest of friends and they agree on everything. And suddenly she finds we have gone on to one of these intelligent discussions where everybody is shouting about everybody else, and she she is trying to figure out who's right or what is the thing that is happening. So we were talking about injustice in the world, and how capitalism is a solution was being, propounded by one guy, and I was saying, no, it's another way of um, bringing up caste. Earlier it was caste, and now it is the cost of things that keeps people into this. And he said a very pertinent thing. He said, look, you want a solution immediately. We are not even saying that there is going to be any immediate solution, but just the fact that this exists and it is right in the middle of the society, and it demands a certain kind of excellence and productivity in you, it is taking away the subject from the earlier fight. Obviously, there will be other injustices, there will be poverty, there will be rich subjugating the poor, and all those kinds will still happen. But the one thing that has definitely happened is that this is opening up in cities and urban milieu. So as we go further down couple of generations, there is a chance there might be a solution. So I think this is exactly what you're saying about. This was obviously an open-ended discussion, and we just stopped having the discussion at some point when I think good food came to the table. We all forgot what we were fighting about. But I mean, in the sense of what you're saying, that we need to understand the other person as a human being who has his or her own journey to go through things, and give that space.